Hello everyone. In the last video, lesson number 1, we saw what an array is and why do we use an array in programming. In this lesson, that is lesson number 2, we'll see how to implement an array in Java. Okay, we'll start with array declaration. Now, before working with arrays, before using arrays in your program, the first thing you have to do is tell your compiler about it, and this is called declaration. Okay, in this you tell the data type and the name of the array to your compiler. There are two ways in which you can do this. First is you write the data type, put square brackets, empty square brackets, and then the name of the array. In the second one, you can put the square brackets in the end instead of putting it right here after the data type. Okay, we'll see an example. I will take my marks array example. So the data stored in that array was of type integer. So we'll write the data type int, put square brackets, give the name of the array, my marks. Okay, same thing we can do like this also. My marks, square brackets. Okay, this is very easy and I hope it's clear. After declaration comes initialization. After telling the compiler the name and type of our array, we have to tell the compiler the size of our array and all the elements that we are going to store in our array. There are two ways you can do this. First one is you write the data type, square brackets, the name of your array, and then equal to sign, and in curly brackets you enclose all the elements of your array separated by commas. I will show you through an example. Integer is the data type, square bracket tells the compiler that this will be an array. This is the name of our array, and I want to store 3 marks, 10, 13 and 15. Okay, done. Now our compiler will see that okay, my marks is an array, it stores integer values and those values are 10, 30, 15. Okay, this method, this one, is used when you know all the values beforehand. Like in the very beginning of the program, you know that these are the 3 values that will be stored in my array. So what you do, you give the name to your array, you tell the data type, and at the very same time in the curly brackets you put in the values. But what if you don't know the values, like you don't know these 3 values? What will you do? You only know that 3 values are going to be there, but you don't know what are those 3 values. Maybe the user will enter them, maybe you will find out about them at a different point in your program. What will you do? The answer is this second method. Okay, in this you will have to do 2 steps. First is you write the data type, square brackets, array name, same as above, and then after the equal to sign you use the new keyword. Okay, and then you tell the data type again, and here you put in the size of your array. Size means number of elements that will be in your array. So in through this line, this one here, we are telling the compiler to create an array of type this data type and to give it the size this. Okay, we can see through an example. Int my marks equal to new, again the data type, and in square brackets you write the size. In this example we have 3 elements, so we will write 3 here. What will this line do? It will create an array of 3 elements. We don't know the elements yet, we only know that this will be our array and it will have 3 values. This is empty now. Okay, these are the indexes. So this line will do this, and later somewhere in the program you can use this line here to give actual values to your array. Okay, you will do it like this: array name, the index at which you want to put the value, and then the actual value. So if at position 1 here I want to store 100, what I can do, I can write my marks in square brackets. We will write the index name, that is 1, and at this index I want to store 100. So I will write like this. Okay, so this is one way you can initialize your array. The first one is used when you know all the values beforehand, and the second method is used when you only know the number of elements, but the actual data, the values, they will come later. Okay, I hope it is clear. Now, accessing elements of an array. How do you access the particular elements of your array? You do it like this: you give the array name and then the index you want. Okay, this line, this code will give you the value stored at this index inside this array. Okay, so in this example you can see I want to access the third value from the my marks array. Now third value means the value stored at index number 3. So here you can see at index number 3 you have 44. So you will get 44 as your answer. So this is how you access elements from your array. Okay. Now we'll see one program in which we'll try to do these things: declaration, initialization, and then accessing the elements. Okay. So I will be coding in BlueJ. Now we'll create one class. We will name it program1. We'll create the main function. Okay. Now if you notice that while writing main function, you write this part of code here. You can see square brackets here. So instantly you should know, okay, this is an array. Here whatever you're writing, it is an array. What is the name of the array? ARGS. And what is the type of the array? String. Okay, so all this time you have been using arrays, but you weren't aware that you were using arrays. Okay, so here we will declare an array. We'll take that same example, my marks in it. Okay, so int square brackets my marks. Okay, and we will store 12, 45, 36, 98, say 90. Okay, so this is how I am declaring and initializing my array at the same time. Okay, I am telling the compiler the name and type, and I'm giving the actual values because I know the values. Okay, now I want to print the value at index number 2. What will I do? I'll just write the print statement, and inside that I will write my marks, the array name, and in the square brackets I will write the index number 2. Done. Now I will compile the program, and then I will run the program. In BlueJ, you right click on the program and you call the main function, click on OK. So our output is 33. So let's check if at index 2 we have the value 36 or not. Let's see here, 0, 1, 2. At index number 2 we have 36. All right. Okay, so in this line we saw initialization and declaration of an array, and in this line we saw how to access the elements. Okay, let's move forward. Now what if you want to change some elements in the array? For example, here I have an array, my marks, and earlier it had 45 at index number 3. I want to make it 100. What will I do? I'll just access the element at index number 3 and assign it the value 100. So this part here, first part is accessing the element, and this part here is changing the element. Got it? So this part will take us to index 3 and this part will make it 100. Okay, again very easy. Access, change, two things we have to do. Let's do it in our program. Okay, now in this line system.out.println we printed index number 2. Now I want to change the value at 2. The 36 I see there, I want to make it 100. Okay, so what we will do, we will first access index number 2. This is us accessing the value at index number 2, and this is us changing it to 100. Okay, we have changed it. Now to check if it has changed or not, I will again try to print the value at index number 2. Now my marks. Okay, let's run our program. This is our output now. The first line here tells us the older value, and this is the changed value 100. Okay, so first line, array declaration and initialization. Here accessing a particular element, here we are changing the element, and again we are trying to print the value at that index. Understood? Now we want to print the array. Okay, there are two ways. First is you can use again the print statement, but you want to print the elements separately. Like you only want a value at a particular index, so you can use the system.out.println statement like you always do, like we did earlier. Okay, in the program, like we used the name of the array, index number, and then put it inside the print statement. That's how you print the individual elements. But what if you have to print the entire array? For that we will use loops. Okay, this is method 1. Here you have your array, type int, name arr, and then these are the 5 elements. Okay, you want to access the first element, print it like this. You want the value at index 1, you will print it like this, and so on. We have already seen this. This is very easy. Okay, but what if you want to print the entire array or some part of the array? What will you do? You can use the for loop. This is our array. Inside the for loop, we'll just write one print statement, and then using this array name and index value, you can access that element at that particular index. How will it work? For that you have to trace the loop. How you will do that? First we will draw this, we will write the index numbers. Index 0, index 1, index 2, 3, 4. Okay, and I'll put the square brackets here so that we will know this. These are the index numbers. Okay, so these are the index numbers of your array, and now we will take the I variable here. I is the iterator of our program, of our loop. Okay, the initial value of I is 0. Okay, after this step you go to the second part of the loop. Here you check the condition. Is I less than 5? Why we have taken 5? Because 5 is the size of the array. Okay, and this I we are checking against 5. So is I, that is 0, less than 5? Yes, it is. So we will be allowed to enter the loop. We will go inside the loop. This statement will be printed. Now what is ARR of I? I is 0 here. Okay, so what is the value at 0th index in this array? 0 index of this array is 11. So it will be printed on the screen. I'll write output here. Then after this line, we will go back up into the last part of the loop. That is the updation of I. Okay, now this I is incremented by 1. I equal to I plus 1. This line means this. I was 0. Here see, 0 plus 1. It will become 1. So I is now 1. Okay. After this updation part, we'll again go back to the condition. Is I less than 5? I is 1 now. 1 less than 5 is true. We will again gain the entry inside the loop. Now array of not 0, 1 will be printed. So the one index of array is 22. It will be printed on the screen. After this line, we'll go back to updation part. I was 1. Now it will become 1 plus 1. That is 2. So I is 2 now. 2 less than 5? Yes. Enter the loop. Array of 2 now. Okay, so index 2 stores 33 now. 33. After this, go back to the updation part. I will become 2 plus 1 now. That is 3. 3. Okay. 3 is less than 5? Yes. Go inside. Access array of 3. Array of 3. 3 is here. Value is 44. Go back to the updation part. This I now becomes 3 plus 1. That is 4. 4 less than 5? Yes. Go inside. Access array of 4. 4 is 55. Print it. Go back to the updation part. Now it will become 4 plus 1. 4 plus 1 is 5. Is 5 less than 5? No. This condition is false now. So you won't be allowed to enter the loop now, and the loop will end here. Okay. So this is how for loop works. This is how you will use it to print an array. Okay. Let's write it in BlueJ. This is our program. Now I want to print all the elements one by one. So what I'll do, I'll use the for loop. For int I equal to 0, I less than 5, I plus plus. Okay. System.out.println. We will access. Okay, the name of the array is my marks. Okay, this is what we learned. Okay, call the main function. First element 12, second 45, then 36, 78, 90. So one by one, the for loop is going through our array using the iterator I. So wherever the I points, whatever is the value of I, that value is considered as the index of our array, and using that I, that index, we are accessing elements of our array. Okay, we will see one more type of for loop. Now this is the for each version of the for loop. Okay, but why do we need it? We already studied a simple for loop. Why do we need this version? Because see, here I have written, first let me clear these annotations. Okay, so here I have written 5. Why? Because I want to go through index 0, 1, 2, 3 until the last one. Okay, so this loop works till 4. That is the last value which is less than 5. Okay, but what if I only want to print the first 3 elements of the array? What will I do? I'll start with 0. Okay, and I'll go till I am less than 3. Last value less than 3 here. Okay, I want these 3. So I'll just write less than 3. Or I can just write when I is less than equal to 2. I can write like this also. There is no problem. Okay. So I want to go from 0 to 2. So I'll write I equal to 0, I less than equal to 2. Or I can write I is less than 3. They both mean the same. Do not get confused. Okay. Basic maths. So start from 0 and I want to go till 2 index. So I can make that change here. Instead of 5, I can write 3, or I can write I less than equal to 2, and my loop will go from 0 to 1 to 2, and only these first 3 elements, they will be printed on the screen. Okay, but when you want to print the entire array and you don't want the uh, for loop to take 0, 5 and these I plus plus, when you don't want to write the starting, the condition, and then the modification for the loop, you can just use the for each loop. In this, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to write the start, you don't have to write the end, no need to write the modification part, nothing you have to write. Okay, just give the name of the array here and give the iterator here. Okay, so this element variable, it will one by one store all these elements. Okay, it will store the elements, not the index numbers. Remember that. In the normal for loop, the iterator stores the index numbers like this, but in this version of the loop, the iterator, it stores the actual element of the array and then stores it and prints it on the screen. So you give a variable here, we call it iterator. You put a colon here and then give the name of your array. Okay, and using the print statement, just write that variable's name here, and everything will be stored like this. Okay, see this in the program. So here, what change I can make? I can just take one iterator, I can call it element, and then I'll put a colon here and then just give the name of my array. Done. And here I will just put the iterator, because we don't need index numbers here, because this loop, it will start from the 0 index and go till the last index. Okay, it's the same, there is no change, because we are doing the same thing but in a different way. Now we saw how to declare, initialize, access, change, and print the array. What about accepting the array from the user? Your program, it's running, and the values of the array, they are coming from a person, from a user who is typing on his or her keyboard and giving in the values to your program. How we will do that? Okay, so for that, first we will declare our array and initialize it with the size you want. Okay, so int square brackets name of the array. Using the new keyword, you tell the compiler that it will have 5 elements or any number of elements you want. Okay, this is the first step. Second step will be creating the object of scanner class. Now this scanner class, no, the object, it helps you in taking the input from the standard input device. See here, system's standard input device, which is the keyboard. So whatever the user types in the keyboard, the scanner class's object takes it and brings it to our code, which is running. Okay, now second step you understand. Third step will be to create a for loop to accept the array. In this, we will start from 0, and here one new thing you will get to know is that instead of writing 5 here, we can just write the name of the array and dot and then length. This is a property of an array, and this gives you the number of elements in your array. Here we have 5, so this my array dot length will return 5. Okay, so actually instead of this you will get 5. Okay, so we'll start from 0 and go till 4, that is less than 5. Okay, so remember this, array dot length gives you the number of elements inside that array. Okay, then again this is the same, you are incrementing the iterator. Next step is inside the for loop, you will access the index, the element of that array. Okay, I is the iterator. This is the name of our array. We are saying inside this array, go to this index, and at this index, put whatever the user has entered using the keyboard. Okay, input is the scanner object, and next int is used because the array stores integer values. This is the function. Okay, so how will it work? Let's try to trace it. Okay, now this first line will create an empty array here. 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, the indexes will be like this. So this array will be created from the first line here. The second line will create scanner object, and it will take the input from the keyboard. This is what we are telling the compiler. The for loop will go from 0 to 4. Okay, the last value less than array length. Okay, we'll go from 0 to 4. Now loop will work like earlier. We saw that it starts from 0, then the condition is checked, then we go inside the loop, then the iterator is incremented, again condition is checked, we go inside the loop, incrementation of this iterator, same thing will happen. You understand that? Okay, we will just see how the values are given. So I is 0 first. We will track the value of I is 0 first, so 0 will come here, and from here suppose the user gives you 55 as the first value, and then the user presses enter key. So this index, 0th index, will store 55. So 55 will go to 0th index. I will become 1 after 0. User will give say 10. So this 10 will go to index 1 of the array. Like this, 2. User gives 13. 13 will go to index number 2. And like this, the user will keep on giving the values, and they will be stored at their right indexes. Okay, and the I will keep on incrementing. It will stop when it becomes 5. Okay, I hope this is clear. Now here I will tell the compiler that our array will store 3 elements. Okay, new int 3. Okay, 3. Now scanner object will be created. Scanner input equal to new scanner system dot in. Now for a scanner, no, you have to use the package, util package. So import java dot util dot start. Okay, so you will import all the classes, everything from the util package of Java, because scanner comes inside the util package. Okay, after this you will start the for loop. Int I equal to 0, I less than, we will use that length property. Okay, so my marks dot length, and then increment the iterator. Inside the loop we will use the scanner object. How? First we will access the element at that particular index, then we will use the input object of scanner class, and then we will write this function. Call this function because we want to accept integer values. Okay, so this is how you will accept the values. Now to see the values which are being stored, we will also print the array. So to print the array, we will take another variable, let's say j. We will do the same thing. My marks dot length I plus plus, no, j plus plus. Okay, in this we will just print our arrays. So I will print ln, and here my marks. Okay, so this for loop will accept the values and this for loop will print the values. Okay, now in BlueJ, this input box come at the bottom. Okay, the first element I want to give is 11. Press enter. Then I want to give 22. I want to give 33. Okay, so these are the three elements I entered, and these are the three elements which were stored and then printed on the screen. Okay, this is the input I gave, and these are the values which got stored and then got printed on the screen. This is how you accept the values for an array from the user. Okay, I hope you understood everything that I taught today in this video. Thank you so much.